Hello children, let us start a new chapter, new powers. So basically what is the this thing, new emerging powers? So first of all, after the Second World War, only there were two main superpowers, US and USSR. So as and when the war ended, so there were few other unions also. So first and foremost we'll be starting about the European Union. It shattered after the Second World War, and there was a question of Europe after the war. Basically this was a question mark. It is rivalry or friendship between the European states. So what happened? US aid to revive the Europe. So after the Second World War, the European economy was completely shattered. So again the question of Europe after the World War, whether it will be friendship or as well will be rivalry between the European states. So here you can see is the first of the European Unity. In 1948 there was a formation of European Economic Cooperation, and in 1949 the Council of Europe was established, and in 1957 European Economic Community was established, and in 1992 there was a formation of European Union. So what is European Union? Its capital is Brussels. It has total 28 member states and its currency is euro, and the motto is united in diversity, and the anthem is Odes to Zone. OU won Nobel Prizes in 2012. So basically European Union is an economic and political union where they cop up with each other for the economic point of view as well as with the political. It acts more as a nation state because it has their own flag, it has their own anthem, it has their own founding date, it has their own currency. They share the common foreign and security policy, and there is no constitution for the European Union. So what is the strength? Why it is very strong? Because it is the world's biggest economy, and euro is threat to the US dollar, and then its share is largest in the trade, and it plays significant role in the World Trade Organization, G8 and G20 countries. And there are two permanent members in the UN Security Council, UK and France. And it may reduce one after Brexit. There are several non-permanent members also in the Security Council, but there are 5 permanent members: US, China, Russia, France and United Kingdom. Whereas a Brexit is an abbreviation for the British exit, referring to the UK decision in a June 23rd, 2016, which is referendum to leave the European Union. So basically it is combined. European Union is the second largest in the world, and 2 EU members are the nuclear powers. So what is the weakness? The weakness is that few member states, they have a very different opinions on the few foreign relations as well as on the defense. So this was all about the European is Association of Southeast Nations. So basically Southeast Asia was under the colonial rule of Europe and Japan before and after the Second World War. It is, once again I am repeating, it is Association of Southeast Nations. So what happened? After the Second World War, Southeast Asia faced the problems like what the problems we faced. There was a challenge to them for the nation building. There was a poverty. There was a economic backwardness. There was a pressure to join power blocks. So then non-alignment movement was also not at all effective in Southeast Asia. So ASEAN was established in 1967 by signing the Bangkok Declaration, and the founding members of the ASEAN was Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore and Thailand. And later Brunei, Darussalam, Vietnam, Laos, PGR, Myanmar and Cambodia, they have also joined the ASEAN. So basically ASEAN Way is the official anthem. What is the objectives of ASEAN? The objectives of ASEAN is they wanted to have strong economic growth, social progress, cultural development. So ASEAN Way has no desire for supranational structures and institutions. They maintain informal and cooperative relations. They respect the national sovereignty. Basically, there are three pillars of ASEAN: ASEAN Security Community, ASEAN Economic Community, and ASEAN Socio-Culture Community. So what is ASEAN Security Community? Basically, it is the territorial disputes between the members should not escalate into armed confrontation. They should uphold the peace, cooperation, non-interference, respect for national differences, and sovereign rights. And the ASEAN Regional Forum 1994 coordinated security and foreign policy of Asian states. And then the Asian Economic Community. What is Asian Economic Community? Basically, to accelerate the economic growth in the region, improve the existing disputes settlement mechanism, create free trade area for investment, labor and services. Then China and all very much interested to have trade relations with Asian countries. Asian politics is a very good platform for Asian countries and major world powers to discuss international issues. So then, what is Communist Republic of China? It formed after the Communist Revolution under the leadership of Mao. It adopted Soviet model of economy as there was no relation with capitalist world. What was the reason of Chinese economy was growing fast? It may overtake US economy by 2040. China is an important player in Middle East Asia. So what is the strength of China? Because it has huge population, it has huge vast land, it has natural resources, it has regional location, political influence is there. That is what growing economy, and this is what the strength of the China. So what is Communist Republic of China? The China depends its own resources for the development. China is sufficient. China need not get it from others. So it created state's own industrial sector from the capital accumulated from the agriculture. So instead of foreign technology, China used its domestic ones, which now our Prime Minister is also following: local for vocal, vocal for local. So it has strong economic foundation, employment and social welfare for all. It has better education and health facility. It has better economic growth. Agriculture sector was insufficient to generate a surplus for industry. So China has changed its policy in 1970. China ended political and economic isolation, and it established relations with US in 1972. There were four modernization in 1973 proposed by the Premier Zhou. First was modernization in agriculture, industry, science, technology, and military. So then there was an open door policy, which is very, very important. It was announced by Deng Xiaoping. It was to generate higher productivity by investment of capital and technology from abroad. What was the changes in the Chinese economy? In 1982, there was a privatization of agriculture. In 1998, there was a privatization of industry as well. Then there was a special economic zones were set up. It led to rise in the foreign direct investment. Then there was a accession to WTO in 2001, which new economic policy and integration with Western economy strengthened Chinese economy. China became very important player in the regional as well as at the international level. So what was the issues in Chinese economy? There was unemployment, there was issue in females, employment, there was environmental degradation, corruption, economic inequality. So then how was the India and China's relation? As now India's and China's relation is getting worse, but that time the situation was India and China had a very limited political and cultural interaction before the colonial period. It was all Hindi, Chini, Bhai Bhai was popular. It was a border dispute. And Tibetan issues worsened the relation in 1962 war. Then the India-China relation improved in the later 1970 after the change in Chinese political leadership. So what was the factor that strengthened the relation? As Rajiv Gandhi has visited China in 1988, there was an agreement on cultural exchange, cooperation in science and technology, opening of 4 border posts for trade, better trade relations and energy deals. Then China's military relation with Pakistan, Bangladesh, Myanmar is also a threat to Indo-China relations. BRICS, it is a regional economic integration. It was an agreement between the group of countries within a geographical region. Why it was? It was to reduce the ultimately remove from tariff and non-tariff barriers to the free flow of goods, services, factors of production between each other. What is BRICS? It stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. Once again, Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. So basically, Jim O'Neill, he was the chairman of the Goldman Sachs Assets Management, coined the BRIC concept in 2001. And it is an international political organization of leading emerging economies. With the entrance of South Africa at the third BRIC summit, in the BRICS became the BRICS with capital S. So basically BRICS, it was formed in 2011 and it is an independent international organization that works for the structured social, economic and environmentally sustainable BRICS bloc. Currently, the firm is working on the building partnership and collaborating with the members of state institutions. So what is the focus? The focus on the business, competitiveness, governance, leadership, science and technology, poverty, private sector, prevention of corruption, investment landscape, trade, healthcare, and innovation in building infrastructure. So, Brazil, it is the 10th fast growing economy in the last century. It is extremely rich in resources such as coffee, sugarcane, oil, and iron. It focuses on the equitable development which has resulted in a significant poverty education. There is a textile, chemicals, iron ore, steel, and motor vehicle industry. And today it is the most popular of the BRICS so far as the foreign direct investment is concerned. Now the Russia, it has capability of high technology sector. 20% of the world oil and gas reserved in Russia. It falls in the number of people living below poverty line. Consumer market of 140 million people, 68% of the people comes under middle income group. It has a highly educated workforce and it is the third largest exporter of steel and aluminium. India population is 1.2 billion. It is the second largest labor force. It holds second place followed by China in BRICS. It is a democratic country. It has broad knowledge economy. China again, it is world's 18th fastest growing economy and third largest country in the world. It is the biggest of all BRIC nations. 13% of the people comes under middle income group. It holds more than 3 trillion forex reserves. It is the largest exporter and importer of 32 to 34 countries. Cheap labor workforce. South Africa is now 23rd largest country in the world. Inflation is below 6.6. 25% of the goods produced in South Africa are for exports, and it's richest in terms of its mineral reserves. So what are the potential members are Indonesia, Turkey, Mexico, Germany have been mentioned for the full membership, while Egypt, Argentina, Iran, Nigeria, Syria, most recently Bangladesh have interest. So recent headline, the BRICS finance minister meets held in Washington. China becomes the first foreign customer of Russian advanced defense system. China export slump indicates slowing global growth. India to buy 36 French-made Rafale jets from there. So BRICS are home to 43% of world's population. It has 21% of global GDP. So BRICS countries have combined foreign reserves. So IMF estimated GDP member 2012 per capita. 2012 was estimated at China. So these are all the data which you can go through. Host country, host location, host leader, location. So this is the BRICS meet in 2014. The target was manufacturing, services and agriculture, energy, infrastructure, mining, beneficiation and health, construction and water provision, green economy and tourism. What was the challenge? Reducing the rural and urban income gap, maintaining macroeconomic stability, inadequate financial forms, managing supply chain. So what was the advantages? India is also expected to grow faster than China after 2020. Now the situation is in different. Rising incomes of BRICS nation will create a new middle consumer classes. It is a roadmap for contribution. Important drivers for growth in the global economy. expansion of their consumer market, and the rise of multinational companies, establishment of positive multipolarity in international affairs. Disadvantages: it lost the speed and altitude over the past 2 years. Chances of intertrade disputes are high. Difficulties of articulating their conflicting interest in some sort of common vision became more evident. Different viewpoints and influence in international arena. So we believe that BRICS markets retain strong characteristics that affect equity investors. We can count there is a strong economic growth, favorable democracy, rich natural resources, and strong finance. Market should go on well in long. The worries and uncertainties will likely continue to create some hassle bustle, but we believe that these markets should be in long term.